We are continuing our discussion of the 4.1 notes. This is page 2 now. Example question number 8. Evaluate the expression using the values given in the table. All right, so this is how it works. Example 8, part A, means you want to find f of g of 1. All right, so this means first, tell me what g of 1, the inside part, is equal to. So g of 1 means you go to your table, you locate the input x equaling 1, that's my input, you put that into function g, and the output that you're going to get is 0. So this means now I want to find f of 0. So once again, go to the input line of the x values, locate the value 0 as your new input, put it now into function f, and the output that you will get is 5. That takes care of that one. The next example wants you to calculate f of g of 2. This means find f of g of 2. All right, on the inside, first, evaluate g of 2. 2 is my input that I put into function g. So on the input line, this is always my original input line. Those are my inputs. So if locate where the value of 2 exists on the input line, there it is. Put it into function g. Now g is represented on the second, or the bottom line of the numbers here. And so putting 2 into function g gives you the output equal to -3. Now that -3 value goes as the input into function f. Okay, -3 is my input that goes into function f. So locate -3 as my new input, put it into function f this time. The output line is right beneath, and you get the answer of 11. All right, example C. We're going to evaluate g of f of 2. This means find g of f of 2. Once again, you work on the inside part first. Locate 2 on the input line. There it is. Put it into function f, which is right below it. The answer you get is 1. All right, now 1 becomes the input. 1 becomes the input. There it is. This goes into function g this time, which is all the way down at the bottom. The output, or your answer, is 0. G of 1 equals 0. All right, next, example D. Find g of f of 3. G of f of 3. This means put the value 3 into function f. So locate 3 as my input, put it into function f, which is right below it. Your answer is -1. Now I want to find what g of -1 is. Okay, so this piece is equal to -1. All right, so g of -1 indicates we need to find -1 as my input, put this now into function g, and the answer you get is equal to 0. Example E, g of 1. G of 1. All right, g of 1, here's where we start. G of 1 means I want to put the value 1 into the function g. Put the value 1 into the function g. You get the answer equal to 0. Right, so this is what g of 1 is. That 0 answer now goes back into g once again. 0 goes back into g, and now the answer is 1. Finally, we have f of 3. F of 3. Okay, so this inside function, f of 3, whoops, hold on. this inside function f of 3 is equivalent to putting 3 into function f. And you get the answer -1. So f of 3 is equivalent to -1. All right, now that -1 is my new input. This again goes into function f. So -1 goes into function f, and that gives you the answer equal to 7. Okay, so once again, we're looking at function composition. This time we have two graphs to examine. We have graph G, which is the curvy one on top. We have graph F, which is the V-shaped graph below it. So the first example, 10a, wants you to calculate G of f of 1. This means find G of f of 1. And so 1 is my input. Remember how the x line is your input line? So 1 is my input. This goes into function f. So make sure you, when you locate x equals 1, which is here, you go to the appropriate function. We want to go down to f because we are working on this piece. Okay, so go down to function f. The output value is equal to -1. Now you put the -1 as the input into function g. That takes you all the way to here. The output value equals 3. Example B, find G of f of 5. G of f of 5 means G of f of 5. Okay, so G of f of 5. F of 5 comes first. I'm going to calculate f of 5. There it is. Find f of 5 by locating 5 as your input value here on the x-axis. Here's 5. Go to function f. Remember, that's the V-shaped function. Go to function f, and the output value that corresponds to 5 as the input is your solution. So that's equal to 1. This is equal to 1. Okay, now we put 1, the input 1 goes into function g all the way up here, and we get the answer equal to 4. That's my output. Okay, next example, f of g of 0. This means I want to evaluate f of g of 0. Okay, so the inside part comes first, g of 0. G of 0 means start at the input 0 here, go to function g. Where do you end up? G is up here. I'm going to call that 5. Okay, so f of 5 is what I now have. So now 5 is my input. There's 5. Remember, that's the input line. Oops, I erased that. So my input is 5. That goes into function f this time. That's going to give you the answer equal to 1. Get rid of that. All right. Last example, f of g of 2 means find f of g of 2. So g of 2, 2 is here. Go to g, answer is 2. Now 2 goes into function f. 2 goes into function f, which is below it, and the answer is -2.